Hi, my name's Dave. I'm a compulsive eater. Just let me get the camera sorted. Weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the grey sheet, write them down, commit them to my sponsor, and don't eat between meals no matter what. I'm finally beginning to put my higher power first. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the qualification. Where to start? A healthy appetite was what my mum used to tell me I had, and I used to just, probably like many people, my mum and dad didn't have a lot of money when I was younger, and treats were like sort of these sacred things, and I remember mum used to buy treats, once a week, and I used to sort of eat them all really, and in one go, and said you won't have anything else for the rest of the week, and I always thought it's because I didn't really have much in terms of treats. It was like a big thing, and I just sort of got at them all in one go, and I did that for a long time. I've never been particularly big. I have been overweight, but I'm only I'm 5'8", nearly 5'7", and I've never been a big guy really, but I can seriously put some food away, and my granddad was had a very healthy appetite, and my dad, they're not compulsive eaters, but my dad also, and what sort of happened over the years was that, and I really realize this now, was I really masked a lot of problems. There was a lot of bullying in school, and I used my humor and I was going to say wit. I feel like that's going nowadays, but yeah, my humor and wit back in the day to kind of get me through. And I used to use food to kind of to go to. And I'm also in another fellowship as well. I just used to mask a lot of fear, and growing up in quite a strict religious background, there was a lot of sort of fear and shame really in my upbringing, and food was always my solace. It was always somewhere I could go and eat, and I could eat twice as much as other people my size. I remember at work, I used to bring my lunches in every day, and people used to say, "Dave, you eat a lot," and I'm just like, "No, it's completely," and I was eating probably more than double what other people were eating, and thinking nothing of it, just a healthy appetite. And it sort of progressed, and quite a few things have happened to me personally in the last year or so, and a lot of it's been my doing actually as well. But I noticed that I came to a point in May this year where I wrote a note, and the note was not a nice note. And thankfully, I've got children, and it was a suicide note. And I was just in absolute despair. I couldn't. I was constantly thinking about food, particularly carbohydrates and sugars. And when I started having, started eating it, and now it's a phenomenon of craving, right? It sets off that phenomenon of craving for more. But at the time, I just had to keep eating it, and I was never satisfied. I was spending probably £3 a day on rubbish, and I was eating a beautiful, healthy meal, and then all I was thinking about was afterwards. What I was going to have afterwards, and even when I'd had that afterwards, I was still thinking. I was completely and utterly, the mental obsession for me was absolutely terrible. And of course, the physical side of things, I wrote out a list a few months back of all the symptoms of my overeating, and there was about 40 things on there, and it was a very honest list to myself about what it was doing to my body. And I won't go through it all because some of it's quite personal, but as compulsive eaters, I'm sure you may have had something similar, yourselves. And as soon as I started writing, I thought, "Whoa, this is a real problem," and I just couldn't stop. I remember when my daughter was born last year, my wife's parents came over, my soon-to-be ex-wife's parents came over, and they were sat down, and they had a coffee, and they had some carbohydrates and stuff we can't have. And I wasn't in the program at the time, and I was looking at them, and they were stirring the coffee and they were chatting away, and no one was having a bite of this stuff. And I was sat there thinking, how these are weird, these people. How are they just like having a conversation and not eating this stuff? And I'd already had a piece and wanted another piece, but I couldn't have it because and I wasn't present for, you know, when they came over to see us, because I was constantly thinking about food. And I thought they were weird, and it now turns out I'm the weird one. You know, it's actually me. It's me who's got a very, very unhealthy obsession with food. So yeah, it was. It really progressed. It really progressed. Getting sober in another fellowship. This one took off, and it sort of doesn't feel as bad as, you know, more harmful substances or drink, because it's sort of, well, it's food, you know, and everyone needs a bit of food to cheer themselves up. I was just in complete denial, because I don't react like my friends react when I have foods we can't eat. I react very, very differently, and that takes me to a place where I'm very, very, very low, and I'm just in a fog. I'm in a food fog, and yeah, and a fellow in this room actually who pointed me in the direction of Grey Sheet, and I'm so grateful. She knows who she is, and I've thanked her, but she pointed me in the direction of Grey Sheet in May this year, and I'm very grateful to say since May the 18th, since I started Grey Sheet, I've not had anything off the Grey Sheet in that time, and that is you know, I hear the word miracle in meetings, and I used to think, oh no, it reminds me of, you know, when I was growing up, and you know, you need Jesus in your life and everything's a miracle, and actually I'm beginning to realize something's happening within me, and today the obsession of the things we can't have has been removed. The temptation's there, definitely, but it's got no weight behind it for me personally today. I'm not saying that might change tomorrow, but today it hasn't got any weight behind it. It's just, oh, it'd be nice to have a piece of that, but I know I can't. And I got a sponsor very quickly. In fact, I got a sponsor day one, and that didn't work out at the time. And I just felt, yeah, it wasn't really working for me actually. And just in terms of the relationship, but I made some mistakes with my oils. I made some mistakes, went round to a friend's house and didn't eat what I'd declared. And my sponsor asked me to reset my days, which I did. And I'm now on day 108 today, 106, sorry, today. And I think really what's helped me is I got a sponsor immediately, and I was absolutely desperate. Yeah, I was completely desperate. I tried OA last year for a little while, and just sort of dabbled into it. Really, I wasn't really ready, if I'm honest. I need a very clear black and white definition of abstinence, because I bend rules because I'm an addict, and I love to bend rules, and I'll find a way around stuff. I always have done, and I cannot allow that. So I'm still getting used to people say, "Oh, when's your diet finishing, Dave?" And you know, and you know, can you have one day off a week? And half of me gets frustrated. The other half is like, it's okay. They don't get it, and it's all right. They're lucky, really. You know, they in one way, because they don't have to deal with this. You know, they don't have to do this. And actually, to be resentful towards them, it's actually my issue anyway, not theirs. You know, and I'm coming to terms with that now. But people keep asking me how my diet's going. I'm like, you know, it's not a diet, but trying to talk to them about spiritual program and 12 steps and it's a different world, really, like it was for me 2.5 years ago. So what's happened since I've come into the program and got abstinent today, and it is one day at a time, and I know everything can change, but I have been, a lot more clarity has come to me, a lot of thought, a lot more care for myself, a lot more awareness of how I've been. It's almost like, as I mentioned before, I've been in a fog. I've been in a food fog all my life, and that food fog is lifting now. But also, it's very difficult because a lot of emotions are coming up that I was masking with food and other stuff, and it's hitting me badly. And it's almost like, whoa, this, you know, is this supposed to happen? And I know now from speaking to people a lot further along with me in the journey, this is normal. I'm exactly where I need to be. And it is difficult, and it's almost, it does sometimes feel like, whoa, I can't cope with this. This is too much. but a day at a time, I get through it. You know, there's people I can ring. I've become very open to a higher power, which I was shut off when I first came in due to my
Five
strict
more
upbringing.
minutes.
Thank you, Sarah. And I am learning to ask for help and be vulnerable and say, you know what, I don't know how to do this. This is too big for me. And by kind of the act of that surrender, it's bringing a lot of peace back for me, because it's helping me become open-minded. You know, I'm definitely not a perfect sponsee. I've got many defects, and I'm kind of not working on those, but I'm asking God to replace them with assets, and trying to strive for the assets. You know, one at a time. And it's going to take me. It's going to be a lifelong thing. This. I think it's important to also say, in Grey Sheet, we have that famous sort of slogan, no matter what. And there's been a few no matter what's this year for me, big no matter what's. And there's been the loss of my marriage. My daughter's moved to a different country. Through my actions in another fellowship, I must add, through my actions. But that's happened. Lost my job, and I'm selling my house, and my car died on Monday. But you know what? I've not eaten over it, and I'm not drunk over it. And I've had people I can ring. And that is just amazing, because my go-to place is to escape. And I've run away all my life. And today I haven't done that, and I'm not doing that today. The fellowship is very strong. People make you feel so welcome. And people, you know, more importantly, people are talking recovery. They're working the steps. They're not just diving into meetings. That the people who are abstinent are working the steps. They have a sponsor who has a sponsor, and they're sharing what's going on honestly with people. So I'm really grateful for this fellowship, and it's helped me massively. It's now allowed me to actually go into hopefully my fourth and final fellowship, my 12-step fellowship, but who knows, there may be more. And I'm very grateful for that, and there's no resentment for that. It's just the journey I'm on. So yeah, thank you so much for letting me share. I'm early days, you know, I am early days, but it's been amazing in the last 4 or 5 months. Has been fantastic. And to go back out into the food today would be disastrous for me for so many reasons. So I'm going to hit the pillow sober tonight, abstinent tonight, and do everything I can. And thank you for letting me be of service.